Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Mapping the Future, an exclusive webinar with Dr. Jad Jarroush on Datumate BIM innovations. We're super excited to have this conversation today and to dive deep into Jad's thoughts, experiences in this platform. My name is Troy Parkinson. I'll be your moderator and leading the conversation today. A couple of quick housekeeping notes. Feel free to include your questions in the chat window or in the Q&A. We'd love to get those throughout the process. And we look forward to having this being a highly engaged conversation and with your input and your insights as well. A couple of quick housekeeping notes. If you are curious to know what DatuBIM is all about, it's the leading cloud-based drone photogrammetry software for the heavy civil construction market. Feel free to scan the QR code on the screen, and that will take you to the website and take you inside look at the software and the experience. So we're ready to jump in right away. We're excited for this conversation. Thank you so much, Jad, for taking the time to have this dialogue. And right off the bat, why don't you share with the audience, how did you actually get into civil engineering to begin with?
Okay, so first of all, thank you, Troy, for this opportunity. And thanks for all the audience that coming to listen and to learn. So actually, I began my professional journey in 1996 by studying civil engineering at the Technion in Haifa, often referred to as the MIT of Israel, despite my family's, as usual, encouragement to pursue medicine. From a young age, I dreamed to build the buildings, to build the roads, to construct the buildings. And upon my starting my civil engineering studies, I met the dean of the faculty, who was also the head of the mapping and the geoinformation engineering. Actually, I didn't know anything about mapping and geoinformation, but he actually shared with me his vision for the future of this field, emphasizing all what you know today about aerial and digital photogrammetry, about using the stills camera when they were in 3 megapixel camera in that time, and advanced high construction engineering technology. Inspired by his vision, I completed my PhD in mapping, geoinformation, and civil engineering in 2008. And actually, I also worked at the Technion as a lecturer and researcher, integrated remote sensing with BIM, building information modeling, and this fusion of classic civil engineering with high-tech computer science was really modern in that time, novel and captivating, and I relish every moment with this inspiring, absorbing work. We cannot hear you, Troy. Troy, we cannot hear you.
Yeah, there we are. I had a cough earlier, so I put myself on mute. So thank you for that insight and that experience and background. The next question that we want to take a look at is, can you take us through your initial inspiration for founding Datumate and your journey into drone photogrammetry and developing DatuBIM? Like, what was that initial inspiration for you?
Okay, so when I started my career after my academic work at the Technion, I took on various professional roles. Started with being a licensed surveyor. I accompanied tunneling engineering work, a vertical building as a survey engineer, and also I used to be a project manager for roads and buildings. And eventually, the most excited work that I used to do it in 2008, I used to be a CTO of one of the most extensive remote sensing and aerial photogrammetry firms in the Middle East. There, I developed an international mega project department, consistently sought new technologies for automated and intelligent solution. When the appropriate technology solutions were not available, I created them myself through programming. In 2010, I decided to be a individual businessman. I founded 2 service companies. The first provided mapping and geoinformation engineering services for construction industry, while the second was the first in Israel to offer BIM technology services for the vertical building. Both companies successfully collaborated in the vertical domain. However, for implementing the BIM technology in horizontal infrastructure project, I recognized a lack of technology when the need for digital, quick, accurate, and cost-effective as-built mapping was really a need for implementing BIM for horizontal infrastructure. 1 mile of road mapping in that time was at least 2 days of work, or maybe 1.5, or in the best case, one days, and we need it in less than 1 hour. This was my primary objective, and the main vision behind founding Datumate is to apply BIM for infrastructure construction during the construction phase using remote sensing methods and drone technology. At that time, drone technology was in its infancy. There were no cameras on drones, no automated close-range photogrammetry solution, and no low-cost photogrammetry cameras. Everything was expensive, and we attempt to achieve high accuracy mapping using regular digital camera, but it was really a challenge. So we had, in that time, 3 missions. With the first mission was to develop an automatic AI technology for close-range photogrammetry that could create 3D reality models from regular digital cameras images. The second mission was to find a drone-based camera system using promising manufacturing worldwide. There is no a manufacturing of a specific drone that provide us a camera system that can use for photogrammetry in that time. And finally, the third mission was to develop a management platform that would enable construction engineering team to use BIM technology as data analytics platform for smart project management. Based on the automatic AI close-range photogrammetric solution that we had in that time to develop in the first 2 missions of us. Combining all these 3 missions, it was my initial task in Datumate.
That's quite a journey in that experience and the inspiration that drove your passion to create this amazing product. In terms of the next question, I'm curious to know, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced in the early stages of DatuBIM's development? And ultimately, how did you overcome those?
So thank you for this question. Actually, the first major challenge was to develop or to prove develop a proof of concept that when you click on a pixel on a normal digital camera still camera image, you can calculate its 3D coordinates, which was really a big challenge. In Israel, all let's say the professional and the expert told me that it's like a impossible mission to do it in this year. So what I did in 2012, I founded an international professional team from Belgium, from Louvain, from Spain, and also from Israel, and brought this proof of concept in 6 months. And on this proof of concept, I raised the first money for Datumate. The second major challenge was to find drone-based camera system from a promising global drone manufacturer. So we know that in order to build a robust system, we need to elevate our camera in the eye, let's say in the bird eyes, at least 50, 60, 70 meters. And it was not an easy task in that time, because drones were only drone without any carrying and the camera system. So you can see in the slide that this is the first camera that we built, and I'm happy to see from all the audience, one of our initial partner or first partners in the US, who built the first drones in the USA by his own hand. So what we had to do in that time is using the internet and to look for special or promising firm that doing something like that. And then I noticed that in China, there was a DJI, a new company in Shenzhen. So I fly to Shenzhen. I travel there to convince and assist the product team of DJI to develop their first Phantom 3 drone, all the necessary accessories such as appropriate camera. What is the appropriate camera? What is the specification of this camera? How to do it? And the auto control software and the radio transmitter. Actually, this technology enables us to bridge the gap between our software and its implementation in the construction and the survey industry. You can see here the images or the photos from 2013, I think. Okay, you can see the two ladies of the product managers of DJI in that time, and you can see also the man that test our technology when he build or establish the first ground control points on Earth. Other challenges that I can remember, so was overcoming the skepticism, the skepticism of the traditional construction professionals. Surveyor, as you know, and civil engineer, they are very skeptic about the accuracy. So for them, it was too good to be true. Each sales process began with experimentation, pilot project, and then a deal. And this need a lot of efforts, a lot of travels, and a lot of professional explanation. And the fourth major challenge was the FAA regulation. So the FAA regulation, it was restricted the use of professional drone services without license. And we solved this issue by seeking in that time partners and companies that help our user to take the license or to achieve the license, or connecting between partners who are pilot firms with our customers. And another challenge that maybe I remember was capturing the images according to the best practice. As you know, as professional, you need to take the images or to capture the images in a specific way to prove or to assure that the accuracy is really good. And for that time, DJI did not have their own flight mission application. So we developed our own, that we call it DatuFlight app in that time, which we offered free to our customer as a quick and professional solution until DJI and other manufacturers develop their own applications. And the final challenge, what I remember, actually the shortage of young technological engineer entering the construction industry. The shortage negatively impacts the widespread adoption of new technology in the construction project, while many construction companies see Datumate as valuable SaaS construction data analytics platform. They often lack drone operators and time for training. And to overcome this, we collaborate with service provider to implement the solution for start to finish.
Excellent. Well, a question came in from our audience that I want to, it piggybacks directly on this, so I would love to know your thoughts. The question is, where can I get a list of cameras that DatuBIM has reliable internal calibrations? So whether that's something you have off the top of your head or something we can ultimately get to our listeners, do you have any off the top of your head that are a list of cameras you
have? I can answer in a very easy way. DatuBIM actually is camera agnostic. We don't care about the camera type that you work with, but we require that you use, like we say, a camera with a mechanical shutter. If you work with mechanical shutter camera, it means that we will be able to calibrate this camera automatically and without need to know or to input to our software the camera types. We will detect all the parameters of the camera automatically. You can also use cameras that its resolution bigger than 20 megapixel camera as a recommendation. Okay, but we don't have like a list of camera that we recommend. We recommend a specification of camera. Every camera that you use with this specification, you can use it in a very reliable way.
Excellent. Thank you for that insight on those cameras. Up for our next question, what we're curious to know is, how does DatuBIM integrate with current industry standards in GIS and construction management?
Okay, so let's start with the industry standards in GIS. GIS and construction management have been extensively researched over the past 2 decades. For management purposes, teams need to access all project-related data in a single, easily accessible database to make informed decisions. So this data includes various types, such like 3D geometric data, design and plan file, schedule, and Gantt charts, personal information of all the employees, materials, costs, task management data, all the documentation needed, machinery data, and communication records. Several software solutions, such as Procore, for example, have become industry standards for handling these data types. GIS capabilities play a crucial role in integrating all those data with the project site positioning. So GIS enables visualization of data on maps, providing digital representation of the terrain in construction projects. And this allows for a thematic cartographic presentation that highlight specific phenomena that we need to know through our construction work. Additionally, GIS offers analytics tools to further enhance data interpretation. So Datumate actually has developed its own geographical information system specifically designed for construction work. Or what we are doing right now, allow importing CAD and BIM and also surface data files into single GIS database, which can then be viewed in an advanced 3D viewer that we developed inside our DatuBIM, alongside the 3D reality of the DTM and the DSM and the texture even of the terrain. In addition, it features an API for connecting to other software database, enables seamless integration with DatuBIM. It includes an annotation model that allows users to upload various file types and data, connect them to the 3D reality, and assign them as tasks to internal user using freehand commands. And beyond that, being a 3D GIS, it enables users to perform analysis such as volume, areas, and distance measurements in 3D, and to present these analyses over the time axis. It is more than GIS. It will provide soon the ability to connect between each BIM element and any other data that can be derived from user as a custom data or as a database data.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Our next question comes, could you explain some of the unique methodologies employed by DatuBIM for generating high accuracy 3D digital models of consecutive flight at the same site? Consequence flight at the same flight.
Okay, so the most, let's say the uniqueness methodology that we use after you have the first flight, what we are doing is to detect automatically all the points or the pixels that they are not moved in the field from flight to the current flight. It means that once you have the first flight 3D model, from the consequence or from the second flight, users do not need to use any ground control points, and the software will detect the ground control point automatically if they are still existed and anchor those GCPs automatically, and also will detect thousands of points that are still stable and they were not moved during the last flight, and use them as like GCPs, making the process entirely automatic and delivering the optimal result. No need for ground control point from the second flight on. But to be honest, after several months, usually the site will be definitely changed, and you need to new or renew your ground control point. But this is really a unique methodology for Datumate, which is completely AI.
Now, for the professionals out there that may have some more specific questions, what advice would you give to those professionals in the field about optimizing their image capture techniques for better results with the DatuBIM?
Yeah, thank you for this question, because maybe more than 90% of our support tickets comes because of this, let's say, a wrong answer of the question. So what we ask and what I offer, what I advise, first, take images in sunny weather. Why? Because shadow affect badly the accuracies. It means that when the sun is close to the middle of the sky, this is the optimal time to take to capture the images. Second, if you use, for example, DJI Phantom or DJI Mavic RTK drones, which is around 20 megapixel camera, which is the common camera right now in what we see in our system. So no more than 2 to 3 meters velocity per second. Don't fly quickly. Why? Because the mechanical shutter also has its own speed, open and close. So what we advise is to keep moving in 2 to 3 meters per second. It's around 5 miles per hour. And in cloudy weather, keep the speed below 3 miles per hour, because it will not be a sunny, and the resolution will be a little bit blurry. So high quality cameras, if you have a good camera, such like a photogrammetric camera, so high quality camera can handle double this speed or even more. But in those normal cameras, please don't pass the 5 miles per hour. Use only camera with mechanical shutter. It's a recommendation. Ensure at least 75 overlap in both directions of the images, and consider the camera sensor resolution. Considering the camera sensor resolution and considering the ground control points accuracies, and considering the elevation of the camera, all of those 3 parameters really affect the accuracies. And if you want to, for example, if you want to reach half or sub-inch accuracy, you need to establish and to measure your ground control point in half of the inch accuracy. It means that you cannot do, or you cannot measure the ground control point using one touch or one click of RTK GPS. It will not bring you those accuracies, even if you fly in the best, or in the best way according to our recommendation. Finally, what we saw, and we will publish like a white paper for our customer, we highly recommend to fly the camera in 60 degrees from the horizon or 30 degrees from the zenith, because it will affect and optimize the elevation or the third dimension accuracy in the coordinates, and it will improve also the resolution of the building facades texture reconstruction, which is great.
Wonderful. A question came in from our audience as you were answering that. And what is your recommendation for overlap and side lap?
Yeah, 70% at least in the overlap in the direction of the drone, And a side lab, I will say my recommendation is 70% at least. And this is why I say 75% in both. That will be great.
Excellent, excellent. As we move on to our next question, we want to dive into how AI is changing this environment. So how do you see AI and machine learning influencing the future of mapping and BIM technologies?
Actually, it's a very, let's say, big question. And I'm sure that thousands of researchers are working in order to try to give an answer for it. But actually, as I foresee the AI and the machine learning significantly will transform the landscape of the mapping and the BIM technology in several keys and several ways. The first one, all the automation and the automated data processing and the analysis actually automate the processing of vast amount of data collecting. It will reduce the time required to create accurate maps and models. Second, it will enhance dramatically the accuracy and the precision. As you can see in our DatuBIM unique automatic georeferencing that we discuss it or describe it 2 minutes ago. So it's fully AI. So it will enhance the accuracy and the precision of the mapping. The real-time monitoring and predictive maintenance will be happen easily. All those real-time capabilities is crucial for ensuring that projects stay on schedule and within budget. Additionally, predictive maintenance powered by AI can foresee equipment failures or maintenance needs, and thereby minimizing the downtime and avoiding cost delays. It will also improve collaboration and decision-making. That's just to remember that all the stakeholders work in one place. So everyone will know about everything in real time. So it will be dramatically improving all the decision making. And also the cost efficiency, the ability to predict and prevent issues before they occur can save significant amount of money that would otherwise be spent on corrective measures. And in that way, it will also improve the sustainability and the compliance. Finally, I will also describe the AI and the machine learning to improve the accessibility to new construction technology, can make advanced technology accessible to civil engineering who have limited time and technical skills, instead of learning complex software, which is one of the biggest challenges in our software, context software world. They can use voice, they will be able to use voice commands to interact with smart platform for generating reports and making decisions. For example, as you use your Siri in your iPhone or in Google, so all what you need to do, Siri, please compute the concrete volume needed for bridge A next month, or from time T1 to time T2, and the software will work automatically to compute it for him. So in conclusion, all the AI and the machine learning poised to revolutionize the mapping and the BIM technology by enhancing accuracy, efficiency, collaboration while reducing cost and ensuring sustainability. These technology will be crucial for construction companies aiming to stay competitive and deliver high quality project in the future.
Wonderful. It's so much opportunity with AI. It's exciting to see how you're incorporating it into the experience, especially the idea of being able to just talk your commands in. It's we are living in the future now, for sure. As we move on, are there any upcoming features or updates to DatuBIM that you can share with the audience today? Any sneak peeks of what lies ahead?
Okay, so I'm very excited to say that I can assure to all of our customers that this year, actually DatuBIM will become the first comprehensive 4D BIM data analytics platform focused on the construction phase of the project. And in order to do it, then the next 2 or 3 releases in this year will enable our user to import and view and also edit the Gantt, the schedule Gantt of the project, which is unique. We will be able, we will provide the ability of adding tasks for monitoring, to add or to link the Gantt task with 3D elements of the or 2D elements of the CAD and 3D elements of the BIM, and monitor them via progress reports, providing all the stakeholders, let's say, results for smart decision makers. Editing BIM files will be also included in our next versions. Adding custom tags for 3D elements inside the IFC will be enabled. And finally, we will also provide a query model to generate reports from BIM data, which is, let's say, a breakthrough in this domain. So we start to take our system to be a management BI system, not only a photogrammetric, a 3D reconstruction or AI reconstruction engine. These enhancements will help manager identify and address various constructions issues during projects, such like user can add data reflecting the construction status of each geometric elements during the construction, such as wall or a part of a bridge, and easily connect, let's say, design start date of the design and of the element, and end date, design end date of the element, and additional actual start and actual date, and all the time compare between those dates. Those features highlights elements that are behind schedule or they meet the schedule. Other example that I can also give, it's to calculate the volume concrete or a specific material needed for upcoming month. Usually, site engineer are focusing on preparing the next week or the next month. How much concrete we need to buy in order to design or to plan our money flow or the budget of the project for the next month. If we have the BIM and we already have it in our system, and we enable the user to ask the BIM about volumes between time X and time Y, so we will enable to solve all these reports in a very quick way. So we are developing these analytics report using AI, allowing user to interact with the platform through natural language. We are trying to use the chat, it's like the chat GPT, in order to, let's say, delete or cancel the need for any UI, any graphical user interface. Just use your chat box inside our DatuBIM that will be coming at the end of this year, and we will be able to generate for you the report that you want. So this is for the BIM vision, and additional, let's say, important or significant enhancement that we are working on is the use the active permanent GPS stations, or what we call the cores of each state in the US, to reduce the number of the ground control points needed from the customer to be established at the beginning of the first flight. Why? Because we are imitating the work of PPK without using any PPK inside the hardware of the drone. This is this enhancement will lead us to use only a few GCPs with individual flight, approximately maximum to one to two per mile. And it looked like the technology challenges, but I'm sure that we will make it happen also this year.
Excellent. A lot of exciting things on the forefront and exciting exciting opportunities that lie ahead. What are some of the most unexpected and innovative uses of DatuBIM that you have encountered?
From my experience, you know, it's today we are more than 3 years or 4 years working with DatuBIM, but actually the two main innovative uses that I learned from our customers, the first one is preparation illegal claims, which is really one of the most important task usually when the management team end and deliver the project. So this will bring him a lot of money. So the project manager utilized DatuBIM time access progress features to demonstrate adherence to the project schedule despite a weather disaster, which entitle him to significant compensation under the project agreement. He requests assistance to calculate the excavation work he couldn't complete due to the weather, comparing it to the reduced work performed elsewhere on the project with the same machinery. Additionally, he uses the platform to show how the weather conditions damage existing excavation areas, necessitating the partial re-excavation, which is really great. And the second use, it's using DatuBIM in the design work, accompany the construction, especially when our users are constructing a design build project. When the design is often incomplete. So temporary traffic routes on project site needed to be constructed quickly and in the last time, let's say in the last time, last minute design. So user employ Datumate as foundational tool in planning and design meeting to extract accurate as built surfaces from the current terrain and to use volume and section analytics for optimizing the design in real time. This is another use which was really unexpected for me. And I believe that as a users, you can take it into consideration when you have DatuBIM in your hand.
Excellent, excellent. Our next question is, in what ways does DatuBIM contribute to sustainability in construction and in urban planning?
Okay, sustainability actually, DatuBIM can play a crucial role in enhancing sustainability and construction industry through various innovation applications, but mainly I can count two of them. First, DatuBIM can detect construction defect quickly, significantly reducing the need for rework. For example, if poor quality work is detected early, it can be corrected promptly, avoiding the need to demolish and rebuild the affected section. Second, it helps in planning machinery position, logistics, and transportation routes, reducing fuel consumption, and emissions associated with moving materials and equipments. For example, by generating a volume and deviation design as built color map in one of our automatic tools in DatuBIM, for a road or for store a crusher machine, a user can strategically position each crusher machine in optimizing way, and it will minimize the movement of the tracks and the digger machines. All of those will save a lot of fuel and will help to achieve more sustainability in the project.
Excellent. As we keep moving in our session today, if you have a question you'd like to share, or if you're dying to know something from Jad, please include that in the chat window. We're happy to answer your questions as well. As we keep trucking along, how can professionals and companies prepare to integrate advanced mapping technologies like DatuBIM into their workflows?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Actually, I don't believe that let's say from my experience, every company or potential customer that we met, he couldn't say that those kind of solutions like DatuBIM solution is not vital for him. But usually there was really an issues in implementing and using the platform as a daily solution and tools for their works in all with all the stakeholders. So again, it's from my experience, those firms or those customers who manage and succeeded in using DatuBIM in the best way, and they expand their using DatuBIM from thousands of images a month to hundreds of thousands of images a month, all of them, they decide to implement DatuBIM in every project across all the company sites. So the first, you need to decide. This will significantly reduce the cost and the time while providing tools for better decision making. Achieving it. So first, identify an internal champion for implementing the platform in everyday working, and set targets and bonus for his implementation task. This was really crucial to make it successful. Second, develop drone service either inside house or through just looking for a partnership with drone operators. Drone operators are really very good. They can learn, they can even make it in very similar cost effective for you. Ideally, you have to train site engineer or foreman to operate the drones. If you don't want to make it, so please find a partnership that he is a drone operator. Third, encourage the survey team to take on the role of DatuBIM manager, to be a BIM manager for each site, because the survey team or the chief surveyor, he is the most stakeholder that will take benefits from DatuBIM and those kind of platforms. And he can also serve others and teach others how to get benefits from a DatuBIM. Schedule drone flights for each site at least once a month. So we have a huge companies, because they want to taste it, they start in 3 months. But when you lose the momentum of documenting the site, you will also lose the added value of those kind of platform. So make it in a very high duration. And if you have the drone inside the site, you can do it even once every 2 weeks. We have some customers that we are facing. They are taking or capturing images every day for specific and small tasks and works, and they make it for the whole project at least one every 2 weeks. And finally, conduct training sessions every 2 weeks for all stakeholders and ensure they all complete DatuBIM license process. So in Datumate website, you can apply for have like a license or a certificate of Datumate users. Make it happen. Ask from all your users to make it. And if you need us or need our team to provide you every 2 weeks a session of training, so make it invite all of your stakeholders inside the organization, and we will make it happen.
Wonderful. It's great to know that resource is there, and that certification becomes an enticing process for people, so they know they can be experts in your approach to this process. Well, I've come up to my last question of our session, and this one is always exciting for me because it deals with the future. What excites you personally about the future of our industry?
Actually, it's my vision, but I'm sure that a lot of CTOs and professionals, they can agree with me that this vision is at least we will have like a common points inside. So let's take a look at the world. The modern world is aging. We are getting older because of the good medicine, because of everything. Most of even in the East, not only in the West, people are bringing to the world less babies than they were in the past. So the modern world is aging. This is a fact. And there are not enough human resources. Second, the construction, especially heavy civil construction, face significant challenges. And here are the three challenges in the construction. First, there is a massive shortage of skilled labor. Hard and engineering workers, almost very, very few. High density in urban area leads to shortage of land and increased complexity and cost in construction. And major tech companies are developing future robots to address these challenges. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the world was young. And the tech companies develop gaming machines, the Sony, the Xbox. So today, if you can even listen to the TV, and all the modern and the new technologies are going toward robotics, because we will reach 75 and 80 years, we will not find anybody to help us. And the robot will be a significant need. Taking all those together, robot will require advanced sensors and software for decision making. And this is why today we are hearing more about AI and machine learning. AI and machine learning all the time were there. But today, everything automatically, we call it as AI. So what I'm excited about the future, it will be very obvious that robots will take over tasks currently performed by humans. I believe that hard workers will be replaced by robots. We will see automated machines operating without drivers. Today, you can see a lot of high-tech companies that they developed remote driver working from home. It's like joystick of the Xbox. More sensors, including drones and mobile laser scanning devices, will be used in real time. As a if we have in the audience surveyor, you will be definitely notice that laser scanning machines first became very, very affordable in costs, and they help us a lot to build the 3D reality in a very automatic way. So I believe that those sensors like laser scannings and mobile mappings and drones and the photos will be definitely the main focus of our future. Real-time reality will be accurately documented and saved in BIM and digital twin platform. So it's not enough to capture the 3D reality every day, every moment, but it will be also saved in and document in a BIM and digital twin platform in real time, and the decision making will be driven by a artificial intelligence and machine learning platform and big data algorithms combined with data from various domains like weather and geopolitical situation. It will enable AI and machine learning tools to forecast and mitigate the potential accident and challenges. And this will be great. It's coming. The vision of the future of the construction excites all of us, and I'm sure that the future is coming.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all that wonderful insight, and thank you for tuning in to watching this experience. Again, in the chat window, if you're interested in learning more about the certification course, there is a link there. Feel free to check that out. Once again, we want to thank Dr. Jad Jarroush for this wonderful opportunity to hear his insight, his knowledge, his vision for the future that's going to make all of our work in the construction space that much easier. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of our conversation today.
Thank you.